Yes, my friends, many changes are about to happen at the Miami Dolphins before the start of training camp 2025. And one question that won't go away is this: can Tyreek Hill still leave the Miami Dolphins? I'll tell you everything we've learned recently. But before I continue, make sure you've already hit the like button if you believe the Miami Dolphins urgently need changes. If possible, comment like this: it would be good if Chris Grier was fired. I always say this because I truly believe the problem is coming from Grier's management. He's already shown that he's not capable of taking the Miami Dolphins to the next level. I hope to see a winning season, playoffs, and who knows, a Super Bowl. Nothing is impossible if things are in place. Well, let's talk about Tyreek Hill. An NFL executive has sparked rumors by predicting a shocking potential trade involving the star wide receiver. Adding fuel to the fire, Hill recently broke his silence on his initial trade request at the end of the 2024 season. Here's everything we know. The trade prediction came from an NFC personnel executive who suggested that the Dolphins could trade Tyreek Hill to none other than their division rival, the New England Patriots. According to the executive, the Patriots are desperate for a top-tier player who could help develop young quarterback talent like Drake May. Additionally, a trade with New England could net Miami higher draft picks considering the Patriots aren't expected to compete in the near future. However, let's address the elephant in the room. The chances of the Dolphins trading Tyreek Hill to a division rival like the Patriots are close to zero. Despite the hypothetical advantages, Miami sending Hill to New England would mean strengthening a direct competitor, something that's almost unthinkable. That said, could Hill be traded elsewhere? While there's a slim possibility, recent developments suggest the answer is likely a resounding no. An inside source close to Tyreek Hill shared some intriguing insights. Hill reportedly has no desire to leave Miami. He dislikes playing in cold weather environments and has settled comfortably in South Florida. After a fire destroyed his home, Hill and his family have finally completed its renovation. His children are rooted in Miami, and he has a strong relationship with Dolphins general manager Chris Grier and the organization as a whole. This paints a picture of a player who not only values his current circumstances but also feels connected to the Dolphins on a personal level. But what about Hill's initial trade request? The frustration boiled over after the Dolphins missed the playoffs, and Hill failed to hit 1,000 receiving yards for the season, a rare occurrence in his career. Following the team's disappointing Week 18 loss to the New York Jets, Hill's frustration spilled into public comments and actions, such as pulling himself from the final minutes of the game. While this behavior drew criticism from fans, it's worth noting that Hill is a fierce competitor who has been accustomed to winning throughout his career. From his time with the Kansas City Chiefs to his first 2 seasons in Miami, Hill was a consistent playoff presence. Missing the postseason in 2024 was uncharted territory for him. In the days following the Jets game, Hill appeared to reflect on his actions and walk back his trade comments during a Twitch stream. He admitted that his statements stemmed from frustration, emphasizing that he's been winning his whole life and struggles to process a losing season. While his remarks were raw and unfiltered, they underline one thing: Tyreek Hill is driven by a desire to win, and he remains deeply passionate about contributing to a successful Dolphins team. Hill's struggles in the 2024 season were not entirely his fault. Quarterback Tua Tagovailoa's absence for 6 games had a significant impact on the team's offensive rhythm. With Tua in the lineup, Hill was a dominant force, recording over 1,700 receiving yards in back-to-back seasons prior to 2024. But without consistent quarterback play, Hill's production dipped. Injuries, including a lingering wrist issue and a rise in drop passes, also contributed to his statistical downturn. Despite these challenges, Hill remains an integral piece of Miami's offensive scheme under head coach Mike McDaniel. His unparalleled speed and ability to stretch defenses create opportunities for teammates like Jalen Waddle, tight end Jonnu Smith, and running back Devon Achane. For the Dolphins to thrive offensively, keeping Hill happy and engaged is essential. Looking ahead, there are key questions looming over the 2025 season. If the Dolphins start slowly, will Hill revisit the idea of a trade? His contract adds another layer of complexity to this scenario. Hill is signed through 2026, but his $51.8 million cap hit in 2026 is a ticking time bomb. The team will likely need to restructure his deal or consider other options before that season arrives. In the meantime, the focus is on keeping Hill in Miami and building a winning team around him. Ultimately, Tyreek Hill's future with the Dolphins is tied to the organization's ability to deliver success. The 2025 season is shaping up to be pivotal, not just for Hill, but for head coach Mike McDaniel, general manager Chris Grier, and quarterback Tua Tagovailoa. If the Dolphins falter again, changes could ripple through the franchise, and Hill's patience might wear thin. But for now, all signs point to Hill staying in Miami, ready to prove he's still one of the league's best. So, Dolphins fans, what do you think? Should Tyreek Hill's frustrations be forgiven, or do his actions raise concerns about his long-term commitment? And how confident are you that the Dolphins can bounce back in 2025 to keep Hill and the fan base happy? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Another key aspect to consider in the Tyreek Hill saga is how the Dolphins plan to navigate the offseason. With Hill's frustrations made public and the stakes for the 2025 season higher than ever, every decision made by the front office will come under intense scrutiny. The team must balance short-term goals of improving their roster with long-term considerations, such as managing Hill's contract and preparing for a future where he may not be part of the picture. Hill's contract remains one of the most significant variables. With a cap hit that escalates dramatically in 2026, the Dolphins face a decision: restructure the deal, trade him before the deadline, or ride it out and deal with the cap implications later. Restructuring could provide immediate relief but might compromise future flexibility. Trading him, while unlikely at this stage, could become a more realistic option if Miami finds itself underperforming by mid-season. However, trading Hill would not only weaken the Dolphins' offensive firepower but also signal a potential step back in their pursuit of contention. It's a gamble that fans and analysts alike would heavily question. On the field, Tyreek Hill remains irreplaceable. His ability to take the top off defenses and his knack for turning short passes into explosive plays make him a cornerstone of the Dolphins' offensive identity. Beyond his talent, Hill's presence alone forces opposing defenses to account for him, creating opportunities for others to shine. This ripple effect, combined with Mike McDaniel's creative play calling, has been a hallmark of Miami's success when their offense is clicking. But as we learned in 2024, Hill can't do it alone. The Dolphins' lack of depth and consistency on offense was exposed during Tua Tagovailoa's absence. The team's reliance on Hill and Jalen Waddle to carry the passing game highlighted the need for additional playmakers and a more balanced offensive approach. This offseason, the Dolphins must prioritize bolstering their offensive line and developing a stronger ground game to take some of the pressure off their star receivers. The quarterback situation is also critical. Tua Tagovailoa has shown flashes of brilliance, but his durability remains a major concern. Missing 6 games in 2024 was a reminder of the challenges the Dolphins face in building a sustainable offense around him. If Tua can't stay healthy in 2025, it could spell trouble for the entire organization. A strong backup quarterback option might not only provide insurance, but also give the Dolphins a contingency plan if Tua falters again. Defensively, the Dolphins showed promise in 2024 but struggled with consistency. Complementing their high-powered offense with a more reliable defense will be essential if the team hopes to compete in the ultra-competitive AFC. With players like Bradley Chubb and Xavier Howard leading the charge, Miami has the pieces to build a formidable defense, but execution and depth remain concerns. Returning to Tyreek Hill, it's clear that his frustrations stem not from a lack of desire to be in Miami, but from a deep hunger to win. This drive is both a blessing and a challenge for the organization. On one hand, Hill's competitiveness pushes the team to strive for excellence. Now, it's your turn, Dolphins fans. Do you believe the team can rebound and contend in 2025? What moves do you think the front office should make to ensure success? And how confident are you that Tyreek Hill will remain committed to Miami for the long haul? Drop your thoughts in the comments below and let's keep the conversation going.